Good evening and good morning, everybody. We are live from San Francisco and a very small town close to Annecy and Geneva in the French Alps. I would like to welcome the listeners to a very unique interview between Dave, the lead singer of MD1, a local electro-pop rock band, and Kevin Adler, CEO of Miracle Messages in San Francisco, who share strong common values. Kevin, good morning. Could you briefly...
Good morning.
Thank you. Could you briefly explain what Miracle Messages is all about?
Well, as my shirt shows us, everyone is someone, somebody. We are a nonprofit that really tries to meet our neighbors experiencing homelessness as people to be loved, not problems to be solved. And we all know that homelessness is a problem that affects cities like San Francisco, Paris, London. But we often lose sight that our neighbors who are experiencing homelessness are not problems in themselves. They're someone's brother or sister, someone's son or daughter, someone's beloved somebody. And in my case, someone's beloved uncle. My uncle was homeless for 30 years. So Miracle Messages, we help our neighbors experiencing homelessness rebuild their social support systems and their financial security. And the way we do that is we offer 3 programs. First, we have our flagship program, which is Family Reunification Services. We've reunited about 450 individuals experiencing homelessness with their loved ones, with an average time disconnected of 15 years, and have seen tremendous results from those. I'll share more later. The second service is our buddy system, where we have volunteers all around the world signed up to get matched one-to-one in kind of a big brothers, big sisters for the homeless phone calls and text messages. That's our Miracle Friends Buddy program. And we have about 150 matches all around the world. And then we just launched our direct cash transfer program, Miracle Money, where we now give out $500 a month for a period of time directly as a type of universal basic income for the homeless. But for us, what Miracle Messages really stands for is seeing our neighbors as people to be loved, not problems to be solved, and building services around that idea.
That's great.
It's really great. Yeah, really, really, really.
Dave, good evening.
Yeah, good evening too. Yeah.
So, small time zone difference here. Huh?
Yeah.
Dave, let's talk about your song, Espérance.
Yeah, of course. So, Espérance en français, in French, is a song that brings hope, of course, and a vision of a better world, where everyone takes care of others and in their daily life and real and concrete action in our lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And how did you end choosing the pictures of the documentary to integrate them into the clip?
Oh, I was deeply touched by, really deeply touched by the subject broadcasted on France 2, French television, by the spirit of welfare and solidarity, which was initiated by Kevin, and the day-to-day actions of all the volunteers who work to bring that love to the families.
Okay.
Yeah. It is therefore quite natural that I would like to illustrate the message of the song of hope with the videos, film about the Miracle Message Foundation. The day I learned that we could integrate them into our clip with Kevin agreement, I felt a feeling of immense gratitude. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks a lot. And I would like to thank you very much. So thanks very much for this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, David, because...
I'm really lucky. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Well, first, I was all for it. We had to ask the producers and people who have the choice. But for me, I loved the idea the minute I received the email, because for us, the number one question that we get is this work only available in San Francisco Bay Area? Is it just this little part of the world? Hey, big city, world famous, we got the bridge, we have all these tourist attractions. And when you reached out, it touched me because it was a reminder that here in a place that I've only been to once in France, and a different part of the world, different time zone, different government, different situation, that you all not only face some of the same challenges, but have this same common humanity and the same desire for hope, for connectedness, for really seeing our neighbors as people. And that to me touched me, that you as a, you know, as a well-respected, esteemed musician with such a passionate fan base would be willing to say, let's see the intersection between my music and a charity in the Bay Area and the work that they're doing. It really touched me. So thank you. Merci beaucoup, my friend.
Thanks a lot. We've got the same passion and the same goal. Yeah, the same goal, the same passion.
Yeah. And David, I know we have a talented moderator, but I have to ask you, sorry, Sebastian, to cut you off. Okay. I just am wondering, how in your music do you find a place to connect your values with this song, of course, but in your career as a musician, how also do you find ways to live those values?
Yeah, of course, this is one of the questions we want to talk about. So that is a good question. Thanks. You want to say something now?
Well, actually, I was going to ask Kevin what his feelings were when you contacted him, and I think we got the full answer.
Okay,
so.
Well, okay.
So that's great. I mean, that's great.
Leave it to the American to butt in, Sebastian. Leave it to me to elbow my way into the front of the queue. Come on. All right. Back to you.
I'm okay with this. I'm easy. Yeah. So
yeah, about this question. Yeah, about the music and this song, of course, being able to express oneself in the music through the writing, through the interpretation, okay, the voice and composition, and also melodies, is a real chance for me. Music is a universal language, of course, and without borders. And in my opinion, there is a sort of a form of responsibility as a singer. It's almost a duty to use this opportunity to try on a small or large scale to carry a positive and benevolent messages. Yeah. Mm-hmm. For me, it's something that I've got to do. I've got also to write a song about hope. Yeah.
I love that, David. I'm a person of faith, and I was doing a little Bible study kind of meditation this morning.
Yeah.
And I read one of my favorite verses, which is 1 Corinthians 12:7. To each person is given manifestations of the Spirit, spiritual gifts for the common good.
Yeah.
And call that the gift that you have, the universal language of music, I love it, but I don't know if I'm fluent in it. I'm not maybe I can get a lesson from you sometime, David. Not my forte, but for someone who has that talent, that gift, then to see it as an opportunity, as almost a responsibility to then share it with people in a positive way is very moving to me. So
thanks. Thanks.
That's good. Good.
Yeah.
And Dave, why do you care about the issues of homeless?
About issues of homeless, of course, I was always been showed about how precarious access to health care can be a part of the American population. It was important for me to carry a message that advocates change, development for a better world and increase, solidarity, health solidarity. Mm-hmm. So I wrote this text thinking about this. And when I wrote this text, this song, it was before the COVID crisis, okay? And it makes even more sense today in view of what we are all going through together. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And about homeless, the situation of homeless, people touch me for a long time, just like the suffering of children, people with disability or sick people. So I can feel the loneliness of those people, and the immense loss of confidence and self-esteem that homeless people carry with themselves. The hope of a better world is really important for me, and it's a strong and a powerful message that perfectly illustrates the meaning of our song. Yeah.
And to Kevin now, you developed it a little bit before, but what are your thoughts about the link between music and miracle messages?
Well, I'll share that one of the inspirations for me in doing this work, I talk about my uncle, and I mentioned him. He was homeless for 30 years, suffered from schizophrenia, and lived on and off the streets. But a person I don't often talk about that inspired me in this work was my mom. And she worked for most of her life as an exercise instructor at underserved nursing homes and at public adult schools in the United States, as a teacher, as an exercise instructor. And, you know, I would listen to her. I'd come home from school and she'd always be making these tapes of Motown music, you know, fun rockabilly, you know, really the classics, the Beatles, right? Put it all together into a mixtape that she'd play for her students, many of whom were lost, forgotten, by themselves, alone in the world. And the times that I visited her classes, and I'd see these World War II veterans sitting in wheelchairs and, you know, sad, and they've lost partners, but then they hear music and they see a positive person with a big smile and they feel better and they start dancing a little bit. And then they see the person next to them dance and maybe they throw a ball around. You know, for me, there's something that elevates the human spirit and touches the soul when you hear a song that connects. And I saw that early with my mom, with her students. And so for me, with, you know, having a love of music, but not too much music talent at this point, I find that one of the quickest ways to affirm our common humanity is through music. And with the homelessness crisis, I can give a talk and give, you know, inspiring words about how we need to see people as people and my uncle's story. But what's truly powerful is when you're able to hear, you know, the beauty of an idea in a way that you want to listen to again and again. And I think music can offer that opportunity, and any art form, you know, film, TV, painting, storytelling in general. But, you know, for me, honestly, it goes back to my mom and seeing her with her elderly students. And, you know, she passed away. She was only 59. She had breast cancer. I was only 23 years old, but seeing someone who was such a embodiment of the love that I try to live with, and the interconnectedness, the sense that no one is better or no one is worse than you. We're all the same. We're all connected.
Yeah, good. Really good. Yeah.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks. Yeah.
And Dave.
Yeah.
You in the music, but what concrete actions are you doing to bring your help to others?
In my life, of course. Yeah. In my own life, my little life, the concrete actions are first of all, the commitment that I have made as a stretcher bearer in Lourdes for almost 10 years now. The fact of being able to artistically carry those values with the songs, of course, through the title Espérance, of course, and also other financial little financial contribution in my life with like a Doctor Without Borders, of course, and also finance a young boy in Tanzania in his education, and everything is small actions in my life, only small actions. Yeah, it's a part of my life, little actions, but small actions. Yeah.
Okay. And what interactions have you had with people experiencing homelessness?
Not many ones at this time. No real experience as a volunteer with. I'm just have this experience as a volunteer with homeless, with Lourdes, but not with homeless people. But it's the same sensibility for me that's called me out. That's called out me to carry me to this desire of benevolence. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would like to invest myself more in this way, and maybe Kevin can help me. I would like to go in the US for a week and to help you. That will be a good thing for me. Yeah, with you and your teams, of course. Yeah,
I would love that, and we actually have had some from the documentary and from your video, the attention that it's garnered together. We've had hundreds of people in France reached out to us saying they want to get involved in Miracle Messages.
Really good. That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, and a few people, they cite, what they've seen in your video. They have cited the documentary, hundreds. And I just got another email yesterday from a foundation in France saying, we really want to bring this to Paris. Let's work together.
So I would like to do this in France, and also in San Francisco. Why not? Yeah.
I think so. And honestly,
with you and the volunteers, your team.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
I'm also ready to. Yeah.
I'm going to pack my bag. I'm going to wear my nice shirts. I'm gonna go
as soon as possible, of course.
Yeah, as soon as possible. I think the question you ask is good, Sebastian, because when I go to school, students, I ask two questions. I say, first, how many of you are interested in the issue of homelessness? How many of you care about your homeless neighbors? Every hand goes up, like everyone, yes, this is on my heart. And then I ask a second question, how many of you are in relationship with someone experiencing homelessness? How many of you have a friend that's homeless? And very few hands go up because there's such a divide. There's such a barrier. It's very hard. Yeah. And so what we're trying to do at Miracle Messages is not only help our neighbors experiencing homelessness, but help us as housed people to form those bridges to them. So, if David or one of his, team members or fans was interested in volunteering and saying, I want to, 1 or 2 hours a week, I'll send a text message or make a phone call to an unhoused person, and I will have 3 months one-to-one as a relationship, as buddies. We could set them up. We have people in Munich, Brazil, in Mexico, who are matched as volunteers to people who are experiencing homelessness in San Francisco. So really, you would go to miraclefriends.org or miraclemessages.org/friends. Yeah. And you can sign up and do that. But David, I would love it if I know how busy you are, so no pressure. But if you ever wanted to be connected to a buddy,
I really try to come. Really. Yeah.
We could find an unhoused person who loves music, and they will be so starstruck. They will be like, "What? Who did you match me with?" It'll be the best match ever. So
yeah,
that's cool. That's very
good.
Yeah.
So thanks you very much for this. Yeah.
Really. So
yes.
Last question for you, Kevin. You're talking about Brazil, 150 people or actions around the world. We wanted to know how Miracle Messages is actually expanding out of the US. What are the plans? Maybe in Europe?
Well, my vision for this organization is that we believe that no one should experience homelessness, full stop, right? No one should experience homelessness. But in a world where it's broken systems, where there's not enough housing, where healthcare is so expensive, as David referred to, where people end up on the streets, we believe that no one should go through homelessness alone. Just full stop. And so anywhere where there is homelessness, where 100 million people around the world experience homelessness every single night, every night around the world, 100 million. And in the United States, 550,000 on the streets every night, over 3 million over the course of a year, many of whom are women, children, families. We want to make sure that no one has to go through what I cannot fathom as the worst possible experience I could imagine going through, of being without stable housing for an extended time. No one should go through that experience alone. And so what that means is, if you have family, let's reconnect you to those family members and provide support. If you don't have family, or family is part of the problem, not part of the solution, let's connect you to friends, neighbors, buddies. You know, as we've seen in this pandemic, we all, I think, have felt a level of isolation and disconnectedness at times that's new to many of us. And one of our unhoused clients said very early on in the pandemic, they said, you don't need to teach me about social distancing, because that's my life every day.
Yeah.
And we want to change that. So whether it's our friends and neighbors with our buddy system, Miracle Friends, or just trusting people with a few $100s a month to say, hey, here's $500. We believe in you. We trust you. We want to support you. And we've seen 20% of our Miracle Money recipients get into housing within a few months, thanks to the Miracle Money. So, you know, it's just being in relationship with each other and making sure no one experiences homelessness alone, and doing that in Europe, throughout the United States, and anywhere else that it's needed.
Okay.
Good.
Well,
very good. So that is an mission. Thanks a lot. Really.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you. And I'm so glad we got a chance to connect.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Yeah, really glad to.
You know, would love to see you in person. We could do a street walk. We can go to a partner site, a shelter, and maybe I'll convince you to give me a singing lesson just for a few minutes. I don't want to bother you for too long. Just for a few minutes, we could do a singing.
I will try. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Great. Well,
yeah.
Both of you, Kevin, Dave, thanks very much for this great interview.
Thanks.
So
thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thanks again. Thanks.
Enchanté. Thank you.
And thank you, Sebastian, too, for
My pleasure.
for the interview. Yeah, thanks.